Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're about to witness a British parliamentary debate. Now we will begin the debate by a toss. Miss Joanne Mano.
This House believes that prostitution should not be legalized. Why? Because it is wrong. As a Filipino, we don't need to sell our soul, our dignity, and our body just to earn money. If you really want to gain money, just like our ancestors in the past year, they are sacrificing their blood, sweat, just to live without losing their dignity. There are some deadly aspects of prostitution where women are victims of different forms of bondage. Situations where they are suffered and are abused but can't escape from. Sex workers are victims of exploitation, coercions, and violence. That is the norms and practice of prostitution. And it works against sex workers and cyber violations of their civil and human rights. The resolution recommends a policy that would decriminalize all aspects of adults' consensual sex works while still classifying coercions into sex, where having sex with a minor as a major human rights violation. The resolution is intended to protect adult sex workers from stigma and abuse by decriminalizing all aspects of sex works, including buying sex, pimping, and operating brothel.
Point of information.
Proceed.
Do you really need to find out having sex with a farmer? First, we're talking about having sex with a minor. Of course, if prostitution should be legalized, the government will provide enough rules and regulations to protect those abusing minors. Like for example, the government will enact a law to impose age limit before engaging into prostitution.
We are talking about prostitution. A new government side talking about legalizing it. So it means minors are included. We can stop those minors to have sex or to mix sex with those in prostitutions.
Point of information.
Proceed.
Then what next? I've said just a while ago, the government will impose age limit.
Do you ever think that minors will not become aware of prostitutions? And there is a possible that they will exercise it to their co-minors. How can you prove that those minors obey those rules or laws of government if in a simple policy or rules they didn't follow? For example, in a simple way of throwing candy wrappers in a place where there is a sign, don't throw garbage here.
On that point, madam, there is a punishment to the minors who disobey these rules.
What kind of punishments are you going to give for those minors if minor citizens are prohibited to be in jail or in prison?
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, now let's hear the Deputy Prime Minister, Miss April Ungan.
First, in one night. But do you think that for those people, or a poor man that cannot afford everything, do you think what will he do to the prostitute? He needs to fulfill his sexual needs, right? But if they want to have sex with another woman, what will be the prostitute days? She don't want to sex with her because he has no money to pay her. So what will be the tendency? It will be lead in rape. The prostitution will appeal in court. The court said it's okay because the prostitution legalized. Where's the right of women?
On that point, sir, voting will authority to crime. You're getting a part from our motion. We're not talking about rape. We're talking about prostitution. The rape is quite different from prostitution because prostitution doesn't require any sexual or physical harassment, and rape is violent act of sexual interest.
I said earlier that there is a poor man that cannot afford everything. Right? But the prostitute claims she don't want because the poor man doesn't have money. What will be the tendency? It will be really blurry because there is harass to the prostitute to sex with the poor man. Legalizing prostitution should be not legalized. Why? Because it affects education. For example, if a one girl studying in high school and her time the prostitution is already legalized. It's already a professional job. But what will be her mindset? She will not going to study because what is the purpose of study? To have a job, to have a money. What will be she will do? She will do to become a prostitute, to have a money in one night, or maybe in our art. So, how was the younger women? They better to become a prostitute
to employ them as they make addicted. This means that they have no way to escape. There are also no regulation, which means prostitutes are subject to unprotected sex and rape from countless people, which means they invariably become infected with AIDS and other sexually transmitted disease. When the market is legalized, it is no longer controlled by the dogs. This is because legal businesses operate industry instead. This is better for prostitutes as they longer suffer the horrific abuses that they face under the legalization of prostitution. This because legal businesses face regulation. They are required by the law to ensure that contraception is used by their employees. When legal, it's easier to monitor. This is because the government knows how many prostitutes they are, when they are located, and what issues are affected the industry. This is beneficial as the government can better plan appropriate health and social policies. Prostitutes are legitimate stakeholders that need protection. Under our model, we better protect prostitutes. They are safer, they are healthier, and they are happier.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's hear the member of the opposition, Mr. Patrick Manulugan.
Once prostitution be legalized, it will cause of increasing the number or high demand of prostitutes, wherein it may result of many discrimination or high discrimination. Example, criminals are free to abuse prostitutes because they are legal and decide to pay a lot of money to work sex for him. It also cause of building many motels wherein many people use prostitution as a business and use to earn a lot of money easily. So it also bad example for the young lady or the student because they come to their minds that they don't need to finish their study. Why? Because they think that if there's a prostitution job, they are easily to earn money than to finish their study and finish their study and work hard. Yes, proceed.
Yes, it will increase the demand of prostitution, yet it will lessen out the poverty of the country.
Are you sure that poverty is lessened? Have you prepared a lot of money or to commit a disease? We're talking about prostitution. As a matter of fact, they don't sure that many people are using contraceptives or contraceptives to release or contraceptives to not acquire disease. And of course, many users, of course, some of the users are not contraceptive because they are not contented to release or to overcome their sexual interest.
With the preparation for
Yes, see?
surely, definitely yes. Most prostitutes are poor. Well, if they will be a prostitute, they can raise their family needs, and most especially they can buy whatever they want. As I continue, according to research, it will lessen also the AIDS and HIV. Why? Because if prostitutes
says that she has AIDS or HIV. We know that AIDS and HIV is a virus that occurs to our body by sex intercourse. Do you think it is curable? It is not, and besides, they don't yet to discover the perfect medicine for HIV and AIDS. Uh, so, so prostitution should not be legalized.
Thank you, sir. And the last speaker from the government whip, Ms. Leonie Bersal.
what is